It's coming up on sunset. I'm standing outside Division 52 police station. They've let David Menzies go, but he has to go back to court. They have made several criminal charges against him. One of them, the most insane of them, is under the Trespass Act. They said he was trespassed from the public property in front of City Hall. I know a little something about that, and this charge is completely bogus. David, first of all, how are you doing? And I notice you have a cut.
Oh, yeah, here. Yeah.
A cut on your head. Did they rough you up?
They can chant genocide in the street, and I can't cover that. Obey your oath, officer. Obey your oath. Will you listen? If I'm on the other arrest, get your hands off.
Okay, then I will. Okay, put your phone down. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for refusing to leave. Okay. Maybe this was on me. I didn't duck in time to hit the roof of the paddy wagon, but for some reason, they while I was handcuffed, one of the officers, I don't know which one, Ezra, was pressuring my shoulder and my arms, and I've been going, as you know, for a few months for physiotherapy here, and it's really, I'm wondering if all that therapy has been undone by that. I literally yelped, right, and I wasn't being a drama queen. It is crazy, Ezra, because there was, maybe 2,000 people on the square today. There was the predominance of the people were for the Mr. Poilievre's speech to the pro-Israel people, and there was a small pro-Hamas demonstration. And I'm thinking, out of all these people, literally in the public square, a journalist doing public service journalism, just asking questions. And by the way, and Efren can account for this, I mean, I haven't even seen the footage, but I can tell you, we were getting physically assaulted by the pro-Hamas people. Touch me. Hey, watch your hands. We have your hands. Watch your hands.
And the cops were right there. I saw in the video. The cops are watching it all.
Yes.
And they took the coward's way out, which is if we try and arrest this mob of Hamas hate marchers, they're going to get handsy with us, but we know Menzies won't, so let's take him out.
I don't get it. They have the tools of law enforcement. They have guns, tasers, you name it. And you're right, Ezra. It's not about law enforcement anymore. It's about keeping the peace. And keeping the peace is increasingly bending the knee to the mob. And we hear, again, chants of genocide. We see people wearing replica suicide vests. Can you imagine that? And, going back to 2020, I think it was one of our masterpiece videos, when Afro-Indigenous Rising, whatever the heck that is, they took over the Nathan Phillips Square for, I believe it was 3 solid weeks. They had tents, they were urinating, defecating, doing drugs there. And that was a no-go zone for tourists, for journalists, for the citizens of Toronto. The world is upside down.
Yeah, well, I think what's happened is violent people have been given a veto over the police. It used to be that they would arrest people who were violent, arrest people who were calling for violence, but now they obey those people as a kind of ransom. Rudyard Kipling wrote a poem called The Danegeld. If you pay the Danegeld, it's basically paying a ransom in advance. And that's what the Toronto police are doing. They're sizing up Hamas marchers, and they say, if we take David Menzies out, will you promise not to hurt anybody? They're really giving a veto to the most violent people around.
I think you're right, Ezra. I mean, it's very much interesting that I was at 52 Division as opposed to 51 Division this time. Literally, Ezra, a block west of here is the Art Gallery of Ontario. And a month ago, Justin Trudeau was to entertain Italian Prime Minister Giorgio Meloni, in a sense, for what was like a state dinner. The pro-Hamas thugs shut that down. Now,
a block from the police station.
1 block from 52 Division at the Art Gallery of Ontario. Now, whether you love or hate Justin Trudeau, that's besides the point. He is the Prime Minister. He was entertaining another Prime Minister. If these guys can shut down what is, in a sense, a state dinner 1 block away from a police division, they can do anything, I think.
Well, that's crazy. I'm very frustrated by this. I wrote an email to our viewers and I said, we're going to do two things. Number one, we're going to defend you against these BS charges. I spoke to your lawyer, Leora Shemesh. She said that they were contemplating holding you overnight and making you have a bail hearing.
Well, you know what? I wasn't privy to those discussions, but I can tell you one thing that came from our lawyer, Ezra. She recognized the pro-Hamas thug who last weekend speared a Toronto Police Service horse with her sign. And, I'm embarrassed to say this, I didn't recognize her. She was with that, group of pro-Hamas people. I wish I had recognized her. And I told the police that. I said, guys, don't ask me how I know this, but I understand that that woman you're looking for, allegedly, who speared one of your horses, she's back at Nathan Phillips Square. I got to tell you, maybe I don't know law enforcement that well. I don't think I should be here being incarcerated. I think she should be there. They were kind of shocked by that information.
You know what? They're cowards, and they would rather let that violent thug of a woman go than be called Islamophobic or racist. And I think that's part of it. You are a completely peaceful Canadian, and you happen to be a regular white guy. So no problem if you're picked up and harassed. If they would have picked up the thugs who were hitting you, that thug Nawad Awan, who's leading the Jew-hating chants, the charges of Islamophobia. We have two-tiered policing in this city. Number one, we're going to defend you against these BS charges. That's where most people would let it go. They say, I want to be done with this. But David, I do not accept that. Step two is to go on the offensive and sue the police and teach them a lesson called the Charter of Rights. You can't falsely arrest someone, assault them, smash them in the head. We all watch when police take someone's head and cover it with their hand as they push them in a police car. So that doesn't happen. That they did absolutely on purpose. It looked like the same cop, by the way, who arrested you was the one who arrested a Western Iranian political prisoner from Iran named Salman
Sima. Yes, who I went down last night. I rushed to St. Michael's Hospital to interview him after he was discharged. I'm really distressed it's the same cop, and it's not Officer Bubbles this time. Two things, Ezra. What really concerns me, especially based on what happened last month at the King Eddie Hotel when I was arrested by the police, they got an enormous public relations black eye. And you would think, oh, guys, this doesn't look good. It's kind of in sync of what happened in Richmond Hill with that Royal Canadian Mounted Henchman. But it looks like, given their behavior today, they don't care about a PR black eye. They just don't care. It's all about protecting a protected class, and I think they're going to lose the hearts and minds of the city. You and I, Efren, everybody else, we back the blue. Without the police, we have anarchy. We have the law of the jungle, and for them to turn a blind eye to thuggery, vandalism, arson, assault, we've seen it all. They're going to lose the hearts and minds of Mr. and Mrs. Joe and Jane Toronto.
Well, remember, a couple of months ago, Justin Trudeau did something highly unusual. He demanded a meeting with the chief of police of Toronto. Now, some would say it's inappropriate for the chief of police to meet with the Prime Minister at all. The chief of police does not answer to the Prime Minister. The chief of police answers to the Police Commission and to City Council. Why was Justin Trudeau demanding a one-on-one meeting? No notes were released, no memos were released, nothing was released. It's obvious why. Justin Trudeau has made Canada pull away from Israel and the West and ally itself with Iran, first of all, and with Hamas. And it's pretty clear to me that if I had to fill in the blanks left by the censorship, is that Justin Trudeau instructed the police chief of Toronto, Myron Demkiw, that he is not to harass Justin Trudeau's street gangs. If you're with the Hamas street gang, you're Justin Trudeau's people, and the chief had better not touch them.
Ezra, once again, you have asked the $64,000 question, because this is what was consuming my thoughts when I was in that solitary confinement. Who is directing these police officers? As you said, Officer 7724, who arrested and manhandled Salman Sima last night and who was arresting me today, is it really organically coming from him, or is he being directed? And is the direction coming from none other than the Prime Minister himself for the reasons you just said? That is chilling to me.
Well, we're going to find out. Like I say, step one is to defend you of these bogus charges. Step two is to go on the offensive, to sue them for false imprisonment, false arrest, assault, negligent investigation, false confinement, all of those things. And also to sue them under the Charter of Rights, Section 24. Your charter rights as a citizen and as a journalist were violated. You were in a public place asking public interest journalism, and they actually had a duty to protect you. Yeah. They had a duty to protect your charter rights. Instead, they violated them. Yes, the Hamas thugs violated your rights too. And I think, frankly, we should look at suing the thugs who were stupid enough to hit you and show their face on camera. I think we've already identified one of them. But it's the police who actually dragged you away, and they need to be brought to court and told what they did was wrong too. So folks, if you want to help me help David, go to standwithdavid.com and